difficulty setting up this live stream. Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York with yours truly, the Law by Night podcast guy. Episode 6, I think? Yes, episode 6. Right. Previously, we did quite a lot. And Caesar made some new enemies and friends within the Anarch movement. We met the most racist kindred that I have ever had the misfortune of encountering. Let's just wait a little more to see who will join us. Tapping on the small window, small greyish bird finder. Just wait a few moments to see who joins us. I shall also inspect to see whether that tweet was sent. I hope it has done. I mean, it's worked so far. I don't see why it would stop working tonight. Or this afternoon, or morning, wherever you are. Ah, it did. Huzzah. Should go and check the Discord server, the Law by Night Discord server, which you should definitely join if you like all things Vampire the Masquerade related. From memes to Let's Plays to Chronicles to just general banter. Indeed it did. Coolio. I shall just give it one more minute before I start with the latest chapter. Whilst I check my emails. Security alerts, because for some reason it just doesn't seem to remember that I exist. Where is that email? Okay. Any weird snoring noises you can find belongs to my King Charles Cavalier Holly. I'm expecting a delivery this afternoon, so if the other dog starts barking, you hear a doorbell, you know why. I'm joined once more by my cats and my dogs. Right. Okay. I think I should begin. Previously, we started looking at our coterie members again, and we spoke to Tamika previously, and it was decided in the chat that the order it would be was Tamika, Agathon, Hope, and D'Angelo. So, as I said, we spoke to Tamika last time. Now we're going to speak to Agathon. Juno and Agathon. Juno, the notes. You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade there's something very real. This time, the Buddhas and satanic Bibles of the storefronts seem almost funny, or perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry humour of these Tremere. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble onto you. Caesar, what are you doing here? Look, I came to help you, like last time. Okay, fine, you're right. Follow me. As he turns to go, Agathon almost looks pleased that you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time, but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle. An aging mid-sized family sedan. You imagine it would look like a baby seat in the back. Opening the door of the driver's seat, Agathon notices your look. Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical. You sit in the car and start driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. On a beautiful night like this, it's not too bad being a kindred. Agathon turns slowly to look at you, both hands on the wheel in exactly the same position you remember a driving instructor demonstrate to you long ago. Please don't attempt to make small talk. I don't care whether the night is beautiful or miserable. The true energies shaping our world are invisible anyway. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of the nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. You glance at the Tremere, You glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. It's obvious this is not the kind of place. Oh, his kind of place. It's not your kind of place. Not exactly. But you've probably been here and just forgotten it. For a bunch of perennially penis art types, your friends are always good at trawling through every gut in search of a high. There's a good chance the research notes are here. Let's not waste any time. Excellent. God, you really are snoring loud today, aren't you, Holly? There's a line into the club. It looks like a popular night, even if, based on the crowd, this is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. You walk up to the man at the door and smile. Hey, you. Hey, you remember me, right? Mind if we go in? The bouncer looks at you, taken in by your supernatural charisma. It doesn't matter whether he really remembers you or not. Sure. Go right in. Have a great night. You walk into the club, ignoring all the people standing in line. Yeah? We're into the nightclub, yeah? Look at the statue here, with a little penis. The music beats down on you, bringing with it more... There. The music beats down on you, bringing with it memories of a human existence. The first time you went dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time it's different. You're a predator and everyone around you is prey. Tightly packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. You sense the emotions all around you. Blood tinted with happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love, a buffet of sensations. Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find. You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warm flesh and circulating blood around you. We're gonna focus. Eyes on the prize. You came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon wades through the dancing people with purpose, but you have no idea how he is searching for the missing research notes. Perhaps he's using the enhanced senses of vampires or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he's doing. Juno. You swerve to avoid a drunken man who's just about to spill beer onto you and try to see what Agathon is looking at. A young woman, intense, purposeful, a little out of place at the nightclub, just like you and Agathon. Let me guess, she's after your research notes too. They're not my research notes, but yes. The woman, Juno, elbows a drunken man out of the way and points a finger at Agathon's face. Ooh. Very interesting design. I like. Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine. Ooh. You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with anger in her words. Sorry, one moment. I'm staying at home with my family who are ill, and I'm just having to go and attend to one of these members, so I'll be back in literally 5 seconds. Alright, cats, get off. Emmett. Emmett. Stay. Right. Something to deal with. Dinner tonight. It's a great big fat gammon joint and a slow cook. Just have to turn the temperature a bit down. Right. Anyway, you look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in the contrast of anger in her words. Juno, you know Elsie will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all. Juno pulls close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear over the music. You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Elsie fucking Starbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog. Is this Agathon's sire? Well, actually no, I think Elsing's the sire, but who is she? Look, are we sure we want to talk about this in the middle of the dance floor? Do I look like I care about the fucking masquerade? Maybe she's with the Anarchs. You look at Juno in genuine shock. From Sophie, you've understood that the masquerade is universal among the kindred. Juno, you don't mean that. You're not suicidal. Fucking watch me. Juno, please. Juno steps back, suddenly cold, ignoring the people dancing all around. She stares hard at Agathon. The past is past. The traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure of that here and now. You know I have the power. No, Juno, please. Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine masquerade breach. If in doubt, use presence. Calling on the powers of your blood, you step closer to Juno between her and Agathon. Agathon was being an arse, so don't hurt yourself just to get him back. He's not worth it. Juno looks you in the eye and you can see that she's tired and scared. Defecting from the Tremere is not easy or safe. You're right. She turns to go and then stops and glances back at you. You should pick better friends. With that, Juno walks through the oblivious dancers towards the exit. Looking around, you realise that Agathon didn't stay to witness your exchange with Juno. Instead, he works his way around the dancing crowd, looking for the notes using his arcane methods. Thanks. After Juno is gone, he returns, shaking his head. The notes were here, but not anymore. It's possible someone grabbed them when they were hunted here. Hunted? Okay, so we're looking for a kindred. I can't remember, it's been such a while since we started his quest line. After making sure Juno is nowhere to be seen, you and Agathon push your way back outside. Outside, you walk to Agathon's car and drive back over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading for Agathon's haven. Juno mentions some very personal things. I trust your discretion in not discussing those things with Elsie. Your love life is your business. Thank you. After a while, you reach Agathon's haven and he parks the car. You walk to the occult bookstore and Agathon invites you inside. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. You follow Agathon upstairs to find Elsie Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. She puts a bookmark in place as you come in. You were successful, I hope. No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore. That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege do? Agathon turns to look at you. These fledglings come and go. Let's see after a few years. Very true. I'll have to ask Sophie why she took this one in. She must have a reason. We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either. That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, fledgling? I'm going to hope that angry is going to be the right response, because I don't want to inform her about the relationship between the two. She was very angry. I don't know what you people did to her, but she's pissed. That might get me a slap. What we did? Careful now, fledglings. Hello there. Is it? Well, it's about one-ish, when we started. Well, I suppose so. I mean, this is the only time where I have no delays, so I suppose in that regard it is early. But fortunately, you haven't missed much. We've just started doing Agathon's quest. Well, a while ago we began it, and now we've just gone to a nightclub and we've met Juno, who appears to be a former lover of Agathon, and we stopped her from doing some Tremere shit in a nightclub. We used presents, so if in doubt, just presents the way out of there. She made her own choices, bad as they were. Anyway, I have something to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. You leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's service if you wanted to? Well, I suppose you could, but... well, they're two different scenarios, I would have thought. I would have thought the Tremere would have, like, had nothing to do with you, or had some, I don't know, blood hunt or something called upon your ass. And Sophie at some point would say, you're free to go about your business. Aww. Well, thanks for dropping by. I mean, you could always leave this playing in the background as you do some chores. But no, in all seriousness, hope it goes well. Thanks for saying hi. Rest. Creepy ambience. You wake up. This is not your haven. Oh. It's a cramped space. You try to move your arms and find they are tied to your body. You can barely bend your legs. When you try to stretch your neck, you hit a cold ceiling. You can't quite believe it, but this is a coffin, or something close enough to it. I'm going to turn down that music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. It vibrates slightly, but you can't hear any sounds coming from outside. It's entirely dark. Good evening. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It is afternoon here, and good evening to thee. For those who are just joining, we have done a bit more of Agathon's questline. We've been introduced to Juno, who appears to be Agathon's ex. Agathon being grumpy Tremere person we're trying to form a coterie with. But it appears we've now woken up in a coffin in our haven, so I'm presuming it's those nasty anarchs from the previous episode. You focus and divert your blood to boost your senses. You begin to deduce some details. The vibrations mean you're in some kind of transport, maybe a car. You can just hear the suggestion of an engine's hum. The cold interior is metal for sure, more sounds that you try to focus on. A male voice, indistinct. The crackle of a radio, the brakes of the car. An impact. The container jostles about. The car door opens violently. You hear a gun being cocked. A panicked scream. Operation compromised. Engaging blank bodies. Oh. We've been captured by the SI. Oh shit. A deafening shot rings in your ears. Dazed, you return your senses to the normal levels. The ringing continues. The lid comes off. What the? Hello, I pressed the button. We found you. Ah, Tamako. And Hope. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walks right into that Imperial ambush. Oh, I love it. The Skyrim reference. Rayloft 27239. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I love it. Oh, brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Come on, get up. We've got to get going. Okay, so our female vampires have saved us. Seeing their faces is surprising, even more so in these intense circumstances. However, you realise the immediate danger and follow your companions out of the car and down a street in the North Bronx. I'm going to turn the volume down a bit more. That'll do. Somebody remember the number 6. The van has crashed into another car. A familiar face, that of Kaiser's ghoul, Jackie, stumbles out of the wrecked sedan and slinks away into the darkness before you call after him. Oh! So Kaiser, that nasty Nosferatu, captured us. But what's that got to do with the... Or maybe he helped us. The three of you jog away toward the line of the trees and take shelter on some branches. Oh, okay, he saved us. So the Second Inquisition found us. And Kaiser and his ghoul saved us? Anyway, the three of you jog away toward the line of the trees and take shelter under some branches. Just as you hear a chopper approaching, its searchlight illuminates the wrecked van and moves towards you. Hide! Now! You see Tamako literally go underground, melding with the earth beneath her feet as she's been swallowed up. Yes, a party trick of the Gangrel and their discipline of Protean, or Protean, depending on your fancy. They can meld themselves with the earth and just... Particularly strong levels of it, they can just go so far underground that being hit by the sunlight won't bother them. Anyway. You look to Hope, but she's not there. You haven't seen any movement. Just the tree she leaned against a scant few seconds ago. You're left alone with seconds to make your move before the spotlight finds you. Well, they use their discipline, so maybe I should use mine. You take off before the light can reach you. In just a single dash, you find a small overgrown mound beneath an old tree. You realise you didn't have to run that far. The searchlight passes through where you were standing just seconds ago, but doesn't actually reach much further into the park. Rather safe than sorry, I suppose. The helicopter flies on, its searchlights frantically moving through the vicinity as your companions once again appear in your proximity. Close call. We have to get out of here before the SI puts boots on the ground. Care to tell me what's going on? Hope, fill them in when we walk. Follow me. Hope Portrait 3 PNG. Your life up to this point, everything you knew, it was a highly advanced VR simulation. Welcome to the real world. That doesn't help much. Your blank stare is what makes her crack. No, actually, the SI, First Light in this case. No, so, the first instance of the Second Inquisition, I think raided your haven and took you in. They were just transporting you out of town. Kaiser told us which route they take. Oh good, so it was Kaiser that saved our ass. Ah, that's good. I wonder why he did that, though. Kaiser organised this whole effort. Why would he do that? In this city, if Kaiser Reno finds somebody who's about to die useful, they simply don't die, moron. Or maroon. Maroon. Guess you've kept yourself useful, so good work and keep at it, eh? Okay, our ride is here. Stay low. The SI might still be around. Kaiser's familiar car stops nearby and the black door opens. Your allies usher you inside and join you. Being inside this mobile fortress never felt like a relief. Until now. Hey, fledgling. Miss me? Not really, but I'll say this, I'm glad you're here. Well, I'm not overly fond of breaking licks out of covered SI transport, so I consider this an investment. That was a civilian transport, no convoy, nothing. I expected more resistance. I'm just curious, if we progressed further along the other two's quest lines, Agathon and D'Angelo, would these two characters be here as well? Although that being said, we've only done Hope's arc once, and only D'Angelo's once, and Agathon's twice, just like Tamika. Anyway. What? You wanted more to sharpen those claws of yours on? Don't worry, that might still happen. You might even regret it. Things are afoot, as the adage goes. Anyway, listen up, Caesar. You are here now because I told your buddies that you were neck-deep in shit. That van you were in, a one-way ticket to Hurtville, Pennsylvania. I broke you out as a favor. Now you owe me. Big. Hope snorts. What's so funny, Jester? Hurtville, Pennsylvania? What? You like it? Yeah, it's literally the funniest thing I've ever heard. Is there earnest where you can workshop these bits of other accident demons? Can I get in? Oh, I love Hope. Everyone's a critic. I'm told I was picked up 2 nights ago. Why didn't I wake up earlier? The Inquisition aren't dumb. They broke into your place in the middle of the day and staked you as soon as they saw you. Bam. Paralyzed. Brought you to the cloisters and examined you a bit. If you're walking funny, that's why. Lucky for you, I had an inside man loosen the stake a bit before they packed you in. Wait, you have an inside man? Within the Second Inquisition? Well, that's the really interesting thing, really. I mean, at the end of the day, the Second Inquisition are still humans. They don't understand ghouls and such, revenants and anyway, as they're human, they can still be manipulated the same way that anyone else can, with a bit of dominate presence and got fur blocking your pretty ears, Stray. Yeah, I have somebody on the inside. As much as I like to be the case, I'm probably not the only one. I have a good idea of why the SI hit you, Caesar. Not that there aren't tons of good reasons for it. It might have been one of these, for instance. The screen in Kaiser's car flickered. Each of them now shows a short-looped clip. It's you, getting into a fight, feeding, using one of your powers. I'm trying to think when that was. I don't know if this is a specific thing or... Oh, might have been with D'Angelo and the dog, I wonder. It could be anything, because we have fed multiple times and we've got into multiple fights with people. Anywho. You haven't exactly kept a low profile, fledgling. I get it, you're new to this. You didn't know better, yada yada yada. The fact is, the SI have tons of this stuff. Security camera footage, YouTube videos posted by onlookers, social media posts from victims, you name it. Like I said though, I don't think any one of these did you in. Slip-ups happen. The reason I need you walking and talking, Caesar, is to test a hypothesis of mine. For that, I need you to finish what you were tasked to do. So first things first. Here. I presume he's referring to our little conversation with the Anarchs, Sophie and the Camarilla. He hands you a phone. The number has already been dialed. You hear the tone. Somebody picks up. Who is this? It's me, Sophie. Caesar? Are you okay? They're fine and dandy. Kaiser? What are you doing on this line? What do you think? It's my phone your protege is using, so keep it snappy. Operating a secure network ain't cheap. Come on, Caesar, spit it out. Kaiser saved me from the Inquisition, Sophie. I only got out because of him. Well, either one of them's going to be annoyed. Your companions look at one another dejectedly. SI? That's what I feared. Well, it was because of Kaiser. The other two wouldn't have been able to work it out otherwise. Listen, the plan. We need to do it. Tonight. But if the Inquisition is involved and you broke out, they'll be looking for you. So we can't meet in public. I have a place in mind. But... Kaiser? Are you still listening? Would I tell you if I wasn't? Caesar, call this number from where you visited before last we spoke. I'll come pick you up. She hangs up. And that's that. What is it that you've gotten yourself into? No need to answer that riddle, he. I think I've almost arrived at the answer. This is my chance to prove myself. Sorry to spoil the fun, but I'll answer that particular riddle momentarily. Don't worry, doll. I can throw a few other ones your way after our mutual acquaintance continues with their night. If my intel is worth a damn, your next stop, Caesar, is right about here. I have a very good feeling that this is going to be the last Let's Play of this game on the YouTube channel, because this to me feels like the climax. The car comes to a stop and the door opens. Outside you see the street leading to Solids and Stripes. Torque's Pool Pub. Well, you need me to kick you out. What about Tamika and Hope? What about them? They're staying right here when they said... There. What about them? They're staying right where they are and we're going to have a little chat. After we're done, I'm sure they'll find way back to their havens just fine. The clock is ticking. I think I know what Sophie wants to do tonight. And if I'm right, tonight's the last chance you've got. If you want to say bye to your buddies before you go, that's fine by me. But that schedule of yours is pretty hectic, so you better do it now and scram. You thank both of your companions for their assistance. Without them, you wouldn't be here now. Kaiser makes a gagging gesture and urges you to step out the car. You turn around and make your way into the bar. The door closes behind you and Kaiser's limo starts moving again. You hope your companions won't have to pay too high of a price for helping you. Yeah, this to me seems like this is going to be the end soon. And what is Sophie up to with the Anarchs? Oh, it's so exciting! The Solids and Stripes is pretty much abandoned tonight, with the only bartender and one bleary-eyed local watching an old bug-art movie on the bar screen. You ask to use the phone and call Sophie first. Yes? I'm here. What's the plan? We're on our way. Notify Torque it's not there. We need to talk as soon as possible and move quickly. She hangs up. You tell the bartender to notify Torque, just like the Anarch leader mentioned you should. That man makes a short call. You only hear somebody picking up, but no words exchanged. The owner's on his way right now. Can I get you anything whilst you're waiting? I don't know why I decided to go for an accent like that for him, but oh well. Actually, do you serve the special stuff? The bartender raises an eyebrow. The special reserve, you mean? Sorry, I can only serve that to a narrow selection of the owner's friends. Come on, I won't tell anybody. Just a sip of the good stuff. Yeah, okay, but just a little, okay? So they don't notice any of it's missing. He takes out a bottle from a safe behind the counter and pours a bit down liquid into a glass. It's whiskey. There, enjoy. Your disappointment is palpable, and at least the smell is nice. Torque comes in some 10 minutes later without Mia. He tips his hat to you, puts a hand on the bleary-eyed patron's shoulder and says something to him under his breath. They both laugh. Marty, how's the night going? Quiet, sir. Just how you like it, huh? Torque notices the untouched glass of a bit of whiskey in that you've persuaded the bartender to pour. For me, you shouldn't have. He takes a glass and drinks the liquid, moving it around in his mouth before swallowing. He looks you in the eye. Sure, I won't keep it in forever, but the night when I don't enjoy the taste of a good whiskey is the night when I truly consider myself damned. Well, Caesar, I believe you wanted me here for a reason. Let's hear it. You're about to tell him about what brought you here, when the doors to the bar open and Sophie walks in, all splendour and charisma. The patron's eyes are now glued to her, and so are the bartenders. Talk isn't happy with the sight. Well, this isn't what we agreed on, Caesar. Care to explain? Things got complicated. We had to improvise. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. I believe Caesar already told you why I'm here. Not in any detail, and the circumstances of meeting were supposed to be different. So, Ms. Langley, tell me why I shouldn't ask you to leave and kick out your protégé while I'm at it. Well, you like what I have to say. Yeah, I've heard that line 100 times, but 99 of those ended up with somebody getting hurt, and that's not something I'm in the mood for tonight. We're wasting time. There's a unique opportunity we should take advantage of, and we only have an hour or so to discuss it before it will be time to act. My driver is waiting outside. Wait a goddamn minute. First of all, I'm not going anywhere without Mia. That was the deal. Second, it's Caesar who was supposed to be doing the driving, not your servant. Both serve me, so it's really of little difference. The circumstances changed and we had to adapt. Don't be stubborn. Foolishness doesn't suit you. I have a secure spot in mind where we can talk. I'll stop you right there. Talk is seething, but he's keeping a lid on his anger. His voice barely changes. My conditions were clear. The way I hear it, you want to break each and every one of them. I saw no reason to agree to any of this. I believe I'll be staying put tonight. You have places to be, yes? Talk, you're throwing away the only chance you have at challenging Callahan. Don't be a fool. The lid comes off. Call me a fool one more time, woman. That's not the only thing gonna be throwing. You're both acting like children. You need to put your differences aside and see the other's point of view. Both Sophie and Talk glare at you. No powers, just their personas enough to make you feel like you'd prefer to be anywhere else but here. Who the fuck do you think you are? There's only one child here, Caesar. Oh, you're the patron, Langley. What does that tell us? What are you implying, you insolent? Shots break the front windows and a flashbang goes off in the room, changing the bar into a space of white light and ringing noises. Well, I was hoping that'd calm them both down, but oh well. You feel somebody tugging at your back and are thrown in behind the bar. More shots ring out, bottles break, the TV shatters into pieces, the wooden bar splinters. Your sight comes back, but you think you've gone deaf because suddenly the room is silent. You see Talk beside you and Marty, the bartender, bleeding out on the floor. You look over the bar. Sophie is standing there, her dress partly tattered, a visible hole in her leg. She is like the heart of a supernova, entrancing, unavoidable, beautiful and terrifying. In front of her are 8 operatives looking like a private military force, just standing there, paralysed by Sophie's magnificence. Talk, you're still there? Yeah? Would you kindly show your guests some hospitality? Sure thing. The Anarch is gone in the blink of an eye, and he reapers next to one of the soldiers. The armour-clad operative's head disappears in a puff of blood and bone. The same thing happens to the second, the third. You hear the radios go off the other soldiers, a panicked voice pleading them to wake up. The fourth head pops. The fifth. They finally realise what's happening, but it's too late. The 6th man is beheaded by what you now see is just Talk's bare-fisted punch. Okay, so yeah, Talk is definitely a bruiser if the anger mentioned a moment ago wasn't clear enough. Talk stops by the 7th man, rips something off his neck and bites down. Sophie walks over to the last man and has him kneel in front of her before biting as well. On your right, a man in full body armor emerges from the back door, raising his assault rifle. What the fuck? With a rush of speed, you take hold of the soldier's gun. He's too surprised to hold on to. You turn it on to him and shout the first thing that comes to your mind. On the ground, now! A combat knife crashes through the soldier's visor and into his skull. You turn round. Torque is grinning. His mouth, something's under his breath. You can hear the exact words. I'm just going to take a mouthful of water, for my throat is dry. Ah, delicious. Still got it. Langley. Sophie wipes her mouth with blood and looks at him. I want to feed. That meeting is still an item? Yes. I'll take it. Splendid. Torque walks behind the bar and checks on the bartender. You see the Anarch open his own wrist and feed the blood to the wounded man. Drink up, Marty. Make you feel better. Get the hell out of here and wait for Mia. She's coming. She'll know what to do. Torque? Yeah, coming. Take the back door, Caesar. Come on. You slink back into the alley behind the bar, leaving 10 bodies and 1 grievously wounded ghoul behind. Nobody stops you from circling around the block and finding your way to Sophie's car. Gregory drives away casually, as if this was just another late-night drive, and not crowned of a desperate, complicated evening. Jesus Christ, I'm going to do that sentence again. Gregory drives away casually, as if this was just another late-night drive, and not crowning of a desperate, complicated evening. The sense of irony is just overwhelming. The place where Sophie bought Torque turns out to be the very same apartment in which you were embraced. I thought that was. The way she explains it, the vampire who owned it left a few nights... The way she explains it, the vampire who owned it left the city a few years ago and gave away spare keys to a trusted compatriots. It's been used sporadically since. One moment, my dog's making weird noises. I'm going to see what she's doing. She wanted. Right, you want to go out. So why did you take me from the kitchen? Right. Okay, so she's going to the garden. I'll be through in just a moment. I've got some eye gel to put my other dog's eye because dry eye like a tear duct. She's all had this before. I do it every even hour. It's just before 2 here, so I might as well whilst I remember. There we go. There we go. Right. What's she doing? Oh, Emma's having a wee in the garden. Apologies for that disturbance, but I don't do this professionally, and I have family matters to adhere to. Come on, doggo. Hope it's not too much of an inconvenience, although it appears to be to the third person who just came and left. Ah well, they're lost. Right. Fancy. You like it? It always felt too modern for my tastes. But what's important is that it's secure. As long as nobody followed your car here, or the fledgling, trouble follows the one wherever they go. Even if that's the case, we have very little time to conduct our business here anyway, and we'll be leaving soon. I hope. So let's begin. I'll stay silent. You look at Sophie, excited. Finally you'll learn what it is that you've been working towards for more than a week. And what is it that Kaiser wanted you to participate in? I have it on good authority that Boss Callahan is blood-bound to Prince Panhard. Oh. That is very interesting. Boss Callahan, for those who don't know or can't remember from the previous episode, is the exceptionally racist kindred in Victorian garb that we encountered in the previous episode, who tried to have us killed. And obviously Panhard is the prince. So the Anarch boss is blood bond to the... That is interesting. Talk sucks air in loudly. That's an accusation and a half there, Langley. Got proof? No, but we're just a boat ride away from getting it. What is that supposed to mean? Caesar, the address that I procured from Kaiser was the meeting spot for Panhard and the Baron's regular sharing of blood, and other bodily fluids, if the rumours are true. Ew. Wait, Kaiser knew about this? Is there anything else that insufferable clump of dead skin doesn't know in this city? He knows things, but only shares them if you pay. Neither the Prince nor Callahan can touch him. He's too useful. Kaiser said something about having plans for me, that he wanted me to make this meeting happen. That can't be good, right? That is an interesting point. I think Kaiser might be as interested in shaking up the status quo as we are. A chaotic landscape makes for a great market for him. Yes. I don't like playing into that creep's hands, but at least now I know what why I'm doing it. The devil, you know, and all that. What was the address he gave you? They meet regularly on Ellis Island, in fact. They meet regularly on Ellis Island. In fact, their next scheduled meeting starts in just around half an hour. Hot damn. I'm guessing you want to crash that meeting. Why? Well, the Anarchs and the Camarilla are technically in each other's beds, so you can see the proof for yourself. So that I can make sure, too. And so that I have an extra pair of eyes for Panhand to consider when I present her my ultimatum. The Prince must abandon her seat and leave New York City. She can go wherever she pleases, but if she stays, the entire court will know, and the next prince might not look favourably on her past. Dealing with Anarchs, especially so closely, is a punishable offence in the Camarilla, as I'm sure you've heard. So I did. Talk strokes his head and Talk strokes his beard and looks intensely at Sophie. What exactly are you trying to accomplish here? Say you remove Panhard and I remove Callahan. Then what? Talk. Did you ever wonder why Callahan is keeping you in check? Because I wondered why the Prince condemns Anarchs during her visits to Elysium, but doesn't allow the Ivory Tower to challenge you. She, or they, have engineered this status quo not for the good of their sects, but for their private gain. They keep all of us in line, because it's lets them hold on to power that much longer. I'm just going to turn the volume back up again. The number I asked for was 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. And your goal is what? Make this Cold War turn hot? Not a great plan. You Cammies will get your butts kicked out of NYC in no time. If you Anarchs manage to organise, which I doubt you will, at any rate, it's a risk I'm willing to take. I don't stand alone in this. This entire operation has been years in the making. I wonder if she's trying to wriggle her way up to Prince, because I do not believe that she's just doing this purely for her own gain. Well, for the gain of the Camarilla. Because I get the impression that she's much older than the Prince. Talk, I'm offering you a chance to square things with Callahan and level the playing field. If we get rid of these two, we can start on equal footing at the next stage of this dance macabre. Do I factor into this plan at all? Which isn't the option that I just chose. Yes, we'll be taking you to Ellis Island, both as another set of eyes to witness the Prince and Baron in the act, and as a bit of added security. I don't think Helen or Callahan would dare lay a finger on me. but they will not find me unprepared. You know, after all these years spent in Callahan's shadow and taking part in all that kindred dick-measuring contest, I should expect a ruse, some ploy to kill me in an out-of-the-way place. That's our inherent paranoia talking. My gut tells me it's time to get this show started. I do hope you have a boat nearby, Langley. Sophie smiles mischievously. Of course I do. It's waiting for us by the pier. Lead the way, then. Moonlight's burning. The three of you leave the apartment and walk toward the pier. Nobody seems to be following you. You get on a small patrol boat and double time it through the Hudson's cold, dark waters. Out of all the places in NYC where the Prince and the Baron could meet, and it's in Ellis Island, a landmark with a dark past, a museum on one hand, a dilapidated piece of history on the other. You leave the boat and make your way to the southern part of the island, paying no heed to the renovated tourist attractions on the northern side. You expected some resistance, a night guard, a helicopter flying overhead, or maybe an NYPD patrol boat. Nothing. The island seems completely deserted. It's clear that this Sophie's on edge. She's moving as quietly, as subtly as ever, but you can see that she's eager to reach the particular house her intel pointed out. Torque is following suit, grimly determined, flashing his piercing gaze all over, still clearly uncertain that this isn't some kind of con. Finally, you see it, light coming from a window in one of the buildings at the edge of the island. The three of you slowly creep closer to the building and take a look inside the window. There it is, Callahan kneeling in front of the prince, sucking on Panhard's wrist, both fully clothed. A small blessing. Torque makes his move before Sophie can stop him. He busts through the building's doors. It all happens very quickly. Torque grabs Callahan by the shoulders and throws him through the still open door. Callahan hits the ground hard. Torque appears on top of him and starts punching. You fucker! You piece of shit! Stop! The prince's voice takes hold for just long enough to make Torque relent, which the Baron uses to the fullest. He shoves Torque off himself and tries to bite down. Prince, call off your lapdog. Langley, what is the meaning of this? The two Anarchs break apart, both wounded, but neither is quite done yet. They look at one another with pure hatred. Kill the bitch, Helen, but leave the fledgling to me. Right after I deal with this shit stain, I'm gonna. A shrill, unpleasant laugh fills the air. You know who it belongs to. Ah, Thomas Arturio, that toreador we met. So entertaining, truly. It almost feels a shame to break up this spectacle. But alas. Thomas? Who the fuck is this joker? Ah yes, I don't think we've met. Though I did hear a lot about you, Mr. Torque. My name is Thomas Arturio, and Callahan uses this moment of uncertainty to strike. He's still too slow for Torque, who throws the boss onto the lawn where the two exchange blows once again. Helen, if you'd be so kind to ask your Fred not to hurt our guest too much. Callahan, don't kill him. This time Callahan comes on top and grabs Torque in an iron hold. Your companion struggles, but can't quite break away. Who is this Thomas fellow? I will not be denied, Helen. Not this time. You will do as I command. And she will do as I command, her Douglas, old boy. So what, the three of them are blood bonded to each other or something? What? Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. I feel I need to break up this little spectacle. It's going on for much too long. You think you're so smart, Langley. You and your clique figured out that there was something fishy going on and all on your own, but you're always working with just a piece of the puzzle. Wasn't she, Caesar? Oh, is this right at the beginning of the game there was a vampire talking to another vampire? Is this that vampire? This master planner, as it were? Sophie looks at you, shocked and disappointed. I don't know what I'm talking about. Of course you don't. Of course, how could you? Only I knew, and your sire. They're the only ones who agreed to embrace you after some negotiations. You hear a scream and a curse. It's Callahan, whose arm has been nearly ripped off his body. Taut breaks out of the Baron's grasp, but doesn't continue the attack. Jesus. Instead, he's at the edge of the water in the blink of an eye and disappears into the Hudson. Only trace left of him is this fedora. Leave him! Why can't you just trust the actors to play their roles? No matter. A problem for another night. He'll reach his allies. He'll tell everyone of this. Let him, and why not? Nobody will believe him. Besides, his knights are outnumbered now that he's in the SI sights. Sophie looks at you. How could you, Caesar? I saved you. Arturo suddenly appears next to her and slaps her in the face. Did you hear anything I said, Langley? Nothing. It's not them. It's me. Me! Thomas. What? No. Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking now. You've played this game all wrong. You're playing on the one board, but you're just a pawn on another. Bigger board, you see? You never realise the people at the top simply flip the chessboard over and punch you in the face whenever they don't like how the game is going. He motions to the remaining kindred. But the thing is, you weren't even adept at... Excuse me one moment. So sorry for that. I was expecting a delivery. It might have been the door that was knocking or something, so I can take the parcel. Wait to go and ruin the mood, dog. But the thing is, you weren't even adept at playing the game you knew. Caesar, just another pawn, placed on the board by my associate. You thought they were your piece since you took them in. But who gave... Excuse me. But you thought they were your piece since you took them in. But who gave you that idea? You returned to the night where you were judged by Prince Panhard, the woman in red, Sophie, somebody speaking to her, a man in glasses, the man standing before you now. This is cruel. We know what's going to happen. If only somebody would speak up for the poor child, they could be a useful tool for the Camarilla. Terror creeps onto Sophie's face. Of course, those are not the words you heard, were they? No. You were already grasping for some opportunity to further your scheme. I put the bait out and you took it. Hook, line, and sinker. After that, it's only a matter of time before you started using Caesar as your errand boy. No one is quite as easy to track and monitor as a naive fledgling who's just learning the ropes. What is it that you want, Thomas? What do I want? Oh boy, that answer is so simple, but so hard to put into words. Unstable stability, cutting-edge thrills and intrigue that push it to the limit, and then return you to the tried and tested status quo, gently, infallibly. A system full of distracting moving parts which simulate conflict so convincingly that its users never feel a need to direct their energy towards upsetting the system. Achieving the eternal through the disposable, building a city that's like a ship of the Theseus, constantly changing its parts, yet always maintaining the same purpose, serving the same goal at all times. A large-scale infrastructure that has something like an exhaust system for the spirit, something that disperses the intoxicity around, instead of concentrating it in a singular place. None of what you're saying makes the slightest bit of sense. I'm getting the impression he's wanting to form a super vampire sect. Arturo is momentarily stopped in his tracks. He stares into the sky for a few seconds before a sad grin appears on his face. Spoken like someone who's never really had what it takes to make it in the big leagues. With a theatrical snap of fingers, he gives his last sentence a sense of finality. Something's changed in the air. A woman's shape slinks behind Sophie's back. Goodbye, Sophie. A person appears behind Sophie. You can't believe your eyes. It's Adelaide Davids, holding garden shears in her hands. Oh, the Malkavian who's been stalking us. You take off and rush towards Sophie. Only take a few steps before a figure blinks right next to you and pushes you away. Arturo. Oh, right, there was an artwork there. Sorry, I didn't realise that was happening. You hear the shears snap. Sophie's red hair conceals her face as her head falls, separated from her shoulders. Silence. Arturo's unpleasant laughter erupts right next to you. Oh, Caesar, your career is moving at a breakneck pace, moving up and up and up. Let me congratulate you on your promotion. You're gonna kill me too? That was the plan, certainly, but I had a change of heart. Helen, feel free to leave us and take the Baron with you. Thomas, I don't think you should. Shush. You're just being jealous. Adelaide, escort the prince and dear old Douglas, please. Sure thing, darling. You are left alone next to Sophie's body. You try not to look, but it's hard to ignore her lip frame decomposing in front of your eyes. Her red dress is like a cloth thrown over a mummified corpse. Congratulations. You've won this little game. You set out on a suicide mission and successfully brought down the power-hungry wannabe tyrant, even it probably wasn't the way you imagined it. Now you're free to enjoy paradise again. Life after death. Immortality. Youth eternal. What they don't tell you is, of course, living in paradise is inherently sinful when not everyone can partake. But you have time to learn how to live with sin, don't you? He takes a melancholic look at the city skyline surrounding him, the Statue of Liberty and the lights of Manhattan shimmering in the distance. You know, New York taught me to believe in fate. My own life began right here, and it began with utter despair. My first instinct was to drown myself in books and keep reading and reading until literature gave me the piece of wisdom I needed to go on. Personally, I find reading a silly hobby in retrospect. I always had this minuscule hope that the next sentence I'd read could finally bring me salvation, but it never did. It only gave me a fuel for this elevated, righteous, intellectual suffering. But the more I read, the easier it was for me to boil every paragraph down to a power relationship. The characters' influence over each other, the writer trying to impress the reader, etc. The strings everyone pulled started to look like strands that weave into the fabric of fate, and once I saw its beauty, I got teary-eyed. My architect instincts kicked into overdrive. I didn't have to submit to fate. All I had to do was cooperate with it and wait for my time to shine, give it my input wherever needed until it trusted me to do more. Thomas steps over what's left of Sophie, wiping his glasses with an elegant cloth from his pocket. And it did. Fate let me look after this city. With my architect's tools, I started quietly shaping the streets and corridors, whilst Kaiser and his ilk shaped the information flow. And among many tools that process gave me, one of them was a way to reliably come up with useful agents like you. The methods I used were crude at times, but the route was there. All you had to do was follow it. Some people write rulebook passages, the others plan city arteries. In the end, the effect is the same. Someone always follows. He puts on the glasses and gives you a long, hard look. I've grown fond of you. You've done so well. Even when that idiot Callahan tipped off the Inquisition, you still escaped. I like that kind of resourcefulness. I could use that kind of resourcefulness. He uncovers his wrist. So take my blood. Just enough so we can start off on the right foot, as a sign of good faith. A sign that you're ready to play in the big leagues, ready to behold the sights I've prepared for you. What do you say, Caesar? Oh. I just got a trophy, which reads, "Damned if you do. Rage against your fate and complete with any character." Well. And that's that. Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. God, what a fucking shit ending that was. Who was he? What does the Caesar choose to do? Ugh. That's really short. What, like, that's barely 10 hours. Huh, made with Unity. Yeah, of course it was. Wow. I mean, I really enjoyed that. But good God, is that a short game. That's really short. Videos. Just looking on the YouTube Studio app just so I can do a guesstimation. 6, 9, 11. Okay, it's not. Alright, it's about 15 hours. Right, so you really can't do all of the coterie stuff in one playthrough. I mean, because we did all the side quest stuff. I don't know whether I'm satisfied with that ending or not. I mean, to me, that's clear sequel baiting. Or some DLC that's going to happen, or it's deliberately made vague so you can make your own decision. But that is... No, I don't feel entirely satisfied with that ending. Because it just happened so suddenly, and I'm going to have to give a little spoiler for myself now and search who this dude was. Thomas Artorio. You know, I was really just getting into that, and it just ends. I don't even know how his name's spelled. Ah, Thomas Artorio, Vampire the Masquerade. Come on, Vampire the Masquerade wiki. Oh, he's the Harpy. Thomas Artorio is a Toreador Harpy in New York City. Because at the beginning of the game we have the opportunity to talk to him. Oh, of course he's the Harpy, he's Toreador. So he's manipulating... So I'm just reading the wiki silently to myself. Some of his more recent projects include the guest library and Sitting with the Tremere, Manus Past Chantry, the Penthouse Haven, and his fellow Harpy Helen What? The Penthouse Haven of his fellow Harpy Helen Panhard, and an ambitious gallery haven for a wealthy Toreador Tribicar. Tribisic, or whatever. Has it made many imbecile contacts among the Bruja, Malcolm Nosferatu, though he does have a respect for Salibros, but the Nosferatu seems to recuperate. Oh, so he's an actual canon character found in Vampire the Masquerade New York by Night. Many of the candidates for the Princeton plan to tap R2 for designs and locations they wish to... So Thomas... I've got no idea what's going on with this now. I hope you all enjoyed that. I certainly did. But yeah, I'm just really stumped by that ending because it just happened so suddenly. Now looking up at Prince Panhard, I'm just seeing... Oh, she's also a canon character as well. Again, I thought they just made some of these characters up. Size as a... Alright, so Helen's acting as Prince, but from what I'm reading, it doesn't seem to be that she's actually the Prince? Oh, right. Helen's ascension to Princeton was quite successful in providing stability to the kindred population and even managed to get the Anarchs to play ball. Right. So yeah, there's some blatant sequel baiting going on, and I don't like that. It's very short, and I would like to do more. Oh, and that sale file for Caesar's gone. Right. Well, I suppose it would be a good place to conclude Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Now, I want to do those quest lines because, as I said, we barely touched upon the actual coterie element of this, which actually is pretty fucking pointless. It really is pointless, isn't it? Because they don't help you in this attacking Panhard and Callahan plan. They save you from the SI, but that's about it. And I'm not quite too sure how it works out, because I would have thought they would have only saved you if you essentially maxed out their quest line, if for lack of a better word. I don't know what you'd call it. But we only started doing Tamika's. We looked at hers, we've done 2 of hers, and we did 1 of Hope's. We also did 2 of Agathon's, but yet he didn't save us. And we did 1 of D'Angelo's, and he didn't save us. But we did 1 of Hope's, and we did. Why is that? Okay. So yeah, I want to keep playing this game. And getting those quests, you know, maxing out their quest lines, essentially. But I don't think I'm going to be uploading them to YouTube because, you know, this is the first blind playthrough. I might do them on the Twitch channel, actually. Come to think about it. I'll give it some thought. I need to give it some thought. I've got this video to process and to edit and distribute and plug and prostitute and whatever. I've also got a review for this to write now. I'll be able to collect my thoughts more easily. Yeah, a review for the Law by Night podcast, which is going to be quite some time away. Well, this review anyway, because I've been writing the Bloodlines. So, you know, the Samedi, the Harbingers of Skull, etc., etc. Right, I'm just taking up your time now. Thank you ever so much to everybody that's come along and seen these 6 long episodes of Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. You have my deepest and humblest blessings, and I'm forever grateful. And hopefully, if I do decide to stream this again on Twitch, you guys can come along and say hi again. And, yeah, should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And now I shall sign off properly. Until next time, farewell.